A big thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this week's video.
Look at the light. It looks absolutely amazing.
It took me like forever to get through to you, misty blue. In any kind of weather.
Oh, morning everybody, fantastic to see you all again. We got snow, hey! And I've come to a place in the Peak District where we've got quite a lot of stone walls. And as you can see here, it's been windy and the snow's blowing against the wall, and I'm hoping to get a shot of this amazing scene. And there's some light as well, and the sunrise is over there. So I've got to be quick. I'm going to get up there and see what I can find. But I know there's a hut up there as well, so I'm hoping that's been blasted with snow as well. Oh, this is so good.
It's hard to know.
So one of the most important things when you go in the winter is being properly dressed. You don't want to get cold. So I like to have a merino wool base layer and then lots of layers, and then I have this big coat which is great at blocking out the wind. And yeah, as long as you feel warm, you're not worried about getting the shot. Whew, this is good. There's quite a lot of snow. So I've come to this barn which I've shot quite a lot in the past, and what I'm hoping to do is get a one from this side whilst the sunrise behind it, and when the sun comes over I'm hoping to get the sun on Shuttling Slough, which is a big hill over there, and it's looking really good because there's dark clouds behind it. And one of the things I'm being really careful of is where I stand. Now it's not too bad here because it's quite lumpy, but if there's some clean snow, I don't want to stand in that clean snow. So just going to be a little bit careful about that, but you can see now that the sky's starting to light up red. So this could look pretty good in a minute. Just got to find the right position just to get the composition here. But oh, this is looking good. Look at the light. It looks absolutely amazing. The cloud is lit up so incredibly. So I've got low because I want to catch some of the light on the snow down here. But this is just so stunning. And it's lighting up over there as well. So if you look over there, oh, that's just amazing.
An undiscovered landscape filled with hope. You are golden territory, let it show.
So it looks pretty amazing, but I think what I'm going to do is try and find a composition in that direction. There's a gate here, there's a wall that's covered in snow which looks so good, but I think over there where Shuttling Slough is, I think that is going to be stunning. So I'm going to walk up there, try and get this in the way, and then hopefully get a shot over there. Sorry, yeah, carry on.
And I have kept you in my mind since then. Hey, you know it. Oh, nothing.
Look at this. This is so good. It's not often you get perfect snow and the sun just coming over the horizon. The red sky's gone now. It's probably about, oh, I don't know, it's probably long. It's about 5 minutes after sunrise. So I'm just hoping the sun's going to hit Shuttling Slough now, which is this hill here. And then I've just lined up the hut and the trees, taking care that the trees not being interfered by the group of trees in the background. And then I've got this amazing leading line here. You can see if I just show you on here, I've got this leading line here, and I've just got to make sure I focus stack it because I'm shooting at about 24mm. I'll probably get everything in focus, but I want to make sure it's going to be a good shot. This is unbelievable. It doesn't get any better than this.
It's like a constant rush. An undiscovered landscape filled with hope.
Okay, so now I'm got carried away, I've just calmed down a little bit. So one of the top tips here is contrast. So what snow does is it simplifies the scene. So what I'm trying to do is use the contrast that I've now got available to me. So the white and stone colours, taking care to separate elements in the scene. That's really important in snowy scenes, because otherwise you can lose some of the effect. Oh, this is so good. There's a long lens shot up there where shuttling slow, can't speak. There's a long lens shot up there where the wind's just cracking over shuttling slow. This is so good.
And I can focus on nothing but you. What a feeling. It's like we have arrived.
I get a lot of people asking about exposure a lot of the time and exposing the scene, and it's quite easy really, especially if you've got a live view histogram. All you need to do, I don't use any exposure modes or anything, I use it in aperture priority or manual. At the moment I've got it in manual, and all I do is I look at the histogram and make sure I expose it as far to the right without blowing out the highlights. Now in snow like this you might have just small highlights, so you can see in this scene here, if I just go a bit closer and show you, you can see here that all I'm doing is I just don't want it to go too far that way. I just want to expose to the right without blowing out the highlights. So about there probably. Really is that easy. You know, you don't have to get too caught up in it. Now obviously there's not a lot of dynamic range in this scene because everything's quite well lit and all the snow's reflecting back into the shadows. But that's the other thing you need to be careful of. And you don't want to blow out your highlights, so make sure you're safe with that, but do push it as far to the right as you can. And then the trick is all in the edit, how you edit that snow to make sure it doesn't look muddy. And we'll talk about that when I get back in the studio.
Oh, that was a pretty amazing morning in the snow in the Peak District. And I just touched on their exposure and getting the right exposure, but I wanted to say there's a big difference between getting the right exposure and the final edit, because you may actually darken the image down a little bit, but what I don't think is a good idea is to underexpose the image because it looks right. I think you're better getting the image exposed correctly, which is pushed to the right as far as you can on the histogram without blowing out your highlights, and then change the look of the image, the luminosity of the image afterwards in Lightroom. So here are the images that I edited. So if I just go back here to this image, so this was really early in the morning, and the sun had just started to light up the clouds. It was quite dark and it probably didn't come across like that in the video, but this is a better representation of what it's like. And the snow here, this part of the snow is much darker than the rest of the image, and there's this tendency to want to lighten it up, but it would just look wrong if I lighten this up too much. So what I wanted to do was just show this as it was, and the highlights here are just picking up the colours of the snow, and I've just maybe just accentuated that a little bit in the edit as I sort of went on through the day. So this one here which is a shot that I didn't show in the video, but one that I really like. So this is a shot of this gateway and the reflected colour here and the sky, and again, because it's not, there's no direct light, it's just reflected light on the snow, I've just made sure I've exposed that correctly. Some of the peaks of the whites here are getting it, but there's no true white on this image. And I've got a print that I'm going to show you of this shot in a minute, but this is a little bit later, so there's the light's getting up and it's starting to brighten the whites a little bit more. This is a little bit later, and you can see the colour balance is changing now. So the whites are starting to get a whiter white because they're reflecting the clouds, which are whiter. There's not as much pink in the clouds. There's no blue sky now because the clouds have come over. So the white of the snow is starting to become a truer white. And I think that's important. And I go from this shot here to this one, which is actually just a crop of this one. I preferred this particular shot. And then finally we're getting onto the colour almost disappearing completely from the sky, and we've now got almost a black and white image because no colour's really been picked up in the clouds. But still, these whites aren't all pure white, because otherwise you're just going to burn out the highlights. I really like this because I like the sort of bluey sort of grey sky at the top here. I felt it just anchored the image really well. And then finally this one, which was probably about an hour after sunrise, the colour had completely gone in the sky. And yeah, I just reflected that in the colour balance and the white balance of the snow. Just to emphasise that, I just wanted to show you some shots from a photographer I really like, Victoria Hack in Canada. She has got some amazing images and some amazing images of the snow. And if we just have a look at some of her snow images like this one, you can see here that the snow has got a little bit of blue in it. It's not the brightest area of the image, even though it's white. It doesn't, just because snow's white doesn't mean to be, it's got to be the whitest part of your image is what I'm trying to say. And so this just is well balanced. It just looks really, really good. Another one here of her images. Again, that snow isn't white at all. It's quite almost not a muddy colour, but a darker colour, because just by toning it down a little bit in the edit and just having this as the bright part, this sun here, you get a better mood to the image. And this is a tendency you see with snow images to make the snow as bright as possible. And okay, that might be the case if there's sun on it, but usually the snow isn't the brightest part of your image, especially if you've got some sky and some sun in the sky. So you've got to just think about that when you're actually editing your image, and I think that's really, really important. So I've got a print here that I wanted to show you of one of my favourite images from that morning. But before I do that, I just want to say thanks to Squarespace, who have sponsored this video. As you know, Squarespace are a fantastic partner to this channel, and they have really helped me grow the channel, and also the ability to have a few websites set up by them, my capture landscapes from my workshops and my Nigel Danson website where I can showcase my portfolio is fantastic. I quite often put new images on there, I write a blog on there, and it's all possible really easily with the Squarespace platform. So if you're looking for a website or a domain, then make sure you go to squarespace.com. And if you're ready to purchase, then you can get 10% off with offer code Nigel, or go to /Nigel. Okay, so let's have a look at this print. So I'll just move this out of the way. So this was my favorite image, I think, from the morning. And yeah, I just really, really liked just the way that the actual sun caught these clouds up here and just made them this sort of peach colour. I just really, really enjoyed that. And then, you know, this colour was just reflected in the ice here on this water going through the gate. And then I just got some of this colour just in the highlights of the snow here. You can see, as I was just saying, that this snow isn't completely white. So you can see this is completely white. Bits of it are, so just probably bits there and there are. Probably the top of the mountain there is where they're catching, you know, the light a little bit stronger. But you know, it reflects the mood of the morning, and that's so important when you're doing snowy images. You've got to try and reflect that mood. It's tricky to edit them. You've got to play about with it and, you know, get what you think's right. What's also really important is getting your monitor to the right brightness and making sure it's calibrated. But what you can see here is that we've got these blue sort of pinky tones in the snow, whereas later on that snow was closer to a pure white. And that's why you can't just use the picker on the white balance and just click the snow, because otherwise it will make that snow pure white and you'll lose that feeling that you got in the morning when I actually shot this, which was this reflected sky colour in the snow, which was really, really important. But I like this. I think I really like the fact this track sort of takes you through here, through to the main mountain in the background. This was shot with my wide angle lens, I think about 21mm. It's turned out really, really well. I'm really, really pleased with it. So that's about it. If you've liked this video, then please give it a thumbs up. It makes such a big difference to the video and the algorithm from YouTube. So yeah, give it a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Comment below as well. You know, if you've got any questions regarding taking snow images, I'm going to check out the comments and I'll try and respond to any questions people have got. So let's just do a bit of a Q&A down there. And also, if you're not subscribed, then maybe you'll consider subscribing. It's free. There's no, you know, you can unsubscribe if you don't like it, but again, it helps me. Okay, thanks ever so much for watching, And until next Sunday, bye.